Hi, I'm Dom and welcome back to my channel. If you can't tell, I am very sick and I am on the brink of laying in a puddle and watching reality TV all day, but I refuse not to be productive this weekend because every other weekend before this I've been working overtime at my job, so this is the first weekend that I really get to write and read. And the book that I'm currently working on, Project Steamy on Set, I have been working on this book for 2 years, maybe 3 years. Yeah, I think I did NaNoWriMo in 2021 with this book, and I have been editing it ever since. I've had critique groups look at it. I've paid for a manuscript critique. I have had beta readers twice, and I am still working on this story. I know it sounds like a lot, but I want it to be perfect because it's the first story that I'm querying, and I'm trying to do as best by it as I can. So now I'm on draft 4 and I want to spend the weekend working on it to try and finish it so I can start on the querying materials. On top of that, I am super behind on my reading goal for the year. I'm supposed to be reading 70 books this year. I think I'm at like 38. I'm 2 books behind. So there's only like 5 days left in the month. So I'm going to try and panic read through 2 books this weekend. And I know you're wondering, how are you doing all of this when you're sick? I have no idea. I know that I'm going to be living on Buckley's and Sunny D, which works, by the way. Sunny D is great for your throat. And I'm going to rest up and lay in a cocoon of blankets while I read. Let's start with coffee and then we'll start revising. So I finished all the plot revisions. I think I covered all the plot holes and the major plot changes that people suggested. Now it's about line editing, which I don't think I want to get into today because that's going to take like 4 hours because I literally have to read every chapter and go through and slowly dissect the words and what I want to say. So I distracted myself by looking at query materials, and I have to say I absolutely hate creating query materials. I can write a book any day. I'm not saying it's easy, but I can write a book. Can I summarize that book in 3 paragraphs that makes you want to read the pages? Absolutely not. And can I write a 1-page synopsis? Absolutely not. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to start querying next month or in September, and I don't know what I'm going to do. But we're done with that, and we're going to start reading. And right now I'm reading Roaming Holiday by Marina Hill. It's about a girl who finds out that she's a princess and falls in love with her bodyguard. At least that's what I think is going to happen. And she has to decide if she wants to become queen or not. It's very Princess Diaries, but black. So that's exciting. I'm about 32% in, and there's 3 hours left according to Kindle. So we're going to try and read for a little bit and then see how far we can get. My goal is to finish this book today and then find another book to read tomorrow. I just got Leather and Lark, which is the book after Butcher and Blackbird, and I love Butcher and Blackbird. So I'm considering reading that. I'm also considering reading Killers of a Certain Age, which is about old women who were like assassins who are being forced to retire. And then yeah, we'll see what else I have. But let's get reading and see how things turn out for the day. So I'm 50% through the book now, and I want to know more about the bodyguard. Like, we get little tidbits about his previous life, but I'm so interested in knowing about his background and why he's so tortured. Which has to do with the fact that I picked this book up because before this I read a mafia romance, and it was the last one in the series of mafia romances that I was reading, and I'm too scared to start another series of mafia romances because I'm scared it's not going to be as good. So I figured this would be the closest thing that would give me those feels, while also most likely being in my like wheelhouse. So he is definitely mafia man vibes, and she is innocent girl pure joy. So sunshine versus grumpy. But I want to know so much more. Like, I want to see him kill somebody, which is dark, but that's the vibe I'm going for. So we're 50% through. There have been scenes, but I want to see how deep it goes, how far he goes to protect this woman that he can't stop thinking about. But it's vibes. It's vibing, and I'm enjoying myself. So I finished the story, and I think it healed me because I feel so much better. I'm lying. What healed me was actually Buckley's and Sunny D, but it 100% helped. Getting lost in this story for a couple hours and just laying in like a cocoon of blankets made me feel so much better, and partially because I really enjoyed this story. It's a 4-star read for me. Not only did I get everything I wanted from it with like the car chases and the shooting and the deadly adventures of saving lives, but I got to see different layers of the main character. At the beginning I said she was very like innocent and sweet, but she has like a snark to her, and she has no problem putting him in his place, and she has this very dynamic relationship with her family, between her and her father, and between her and her sister, who is also going through the experience of finding out that she's a princess. The way that they interact with each other and exist in her life definitely makes it more complicated than if she were like an orphan or had a single parent who, you know, wasn't super involved in the decisions she made. So the way that things transpired between her deciding if she's going to take on this new life while also battling with the past that she had with her family mixed really well together. Now, with that said, the last 50% of the book doesn't really focus on Nina's journey. It more so focuses on the main male, Wesley, and his past. And so I feel like the decision of Nina taking on the country or not kind of gets lost in like the mix of the intensity and like the high stakes action. So I think having a second book where we not only explore Nina's journey, but their relationship as a whole, I think would make even the first book better. It felt very set up for a future thing instead of like wrapped up by the end of it. But I loved the side characters. I loved that her sister existed. Like I said, I think it really added to it, and it showed even more of who she is as a person through this dynamic. However, there were certain things that just happened that were so pointless that I don't know what they were supposed to add. Like, she had a past relationship, and for like the first few chapters, that seemed like it was going to be relevant. But then like, I only like 30% in, you just never hear of it again. It does not impact her at all. It does not affect the way she interacts with her love interest. It does not affect the way she feels about herself. It is like it was there and then it was completely ignored towards the end, which is just absolutely wild to me. And then there were certain aspects, because the queen, her mother, had a sister, so she has cousins, and some of her interactions with her cousins just felt like they were there to exist, not like actually relevant to the story. Like they could have really not given her any cousins and it wouldn't have impacted the story any single way, especially because they had this best friend who they seemed like they're like, who seemed like the writer was trying to make such a character, but he was just so irrelevant in the end. Yeah, I don't know what it was supposed to add to the story, but it could have been left out entirely. So it had aspects of it that I could have done without, and they had sections where I needed a little bit more. But overall, it was a great story, and it gave me what I wanted, so no complaints from me. Despite the fact that I bought 12 new physical books, I did not feel like reading any of them because of this freaking mafia mood that I'm in. But I think I'm starting to get out of it because I'm kind of tired of the guns and everything when I'm reading this book that I chose. So I think my next book is probably going to be like a fantasy book or something. But I decided to read Sinful Vows from Asia Monique, and I think it's really interesting. It's predominantly black characters, like both the love interests are black, but the way that she decided to integrate them into predominantly white mafia spaces was an interesting concept and a creative way to make it black but still Italian. I don't know. It's it's a wild ride, but like reading the book like description on Goodreads, I definitely thought it was going to be white characters because of their names and like the description of the story. But then like within like the first 5 minutes, it establishes that like everybody in this book is black. So I'm loving that aspect, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. Some books, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if I'm dumb, but some stories I have a hard time following. Like they'll be like moving behind the scenes, or they'll make something happen. I'm like, is it me or does it not make sense? Like, am I missing something or am I not paying close attention? Yeah, so I don't know if it's the book or it's me, or if I just have to be patient and like wait, because I'm only 40% in. So maybe I just have to be patient and it'll all reveal itself. But I honestly am confused and I can't keep up with all the mafia families. Like, I'm like, people are getting murdered and I don't know why they're important, and they're saying things and I'm like, did I miss when this aspect was introduced? I have no idea. But I am 40% in and I'm enjoying it. And there was just like, and they've already had like twists and turns. So it's a good read. I just don't know if I'm going to fully understand it by the end, or if it's going to be wrapped up in a way that makes sense to me. Because I only have 60% left, which I only have like 2 hours of reading left. So I might get done it tonight. It's 10 o'clock. So I might get done it tonight, and then maybe I can start a third book tomorrow, and then I will be ahead of my goal. Good morning. I couldn't stay up late reading because literally at 11 p.m. my best friend told me that my nephew has his trophy day tomorrow for baseball. So it was at 10 a.m. So that meant I had to wake up at 8:30 to wash my hair and get myself together. So I could only stay up till 1 a.m. That's all I could handle. But I did get to 64% of the book, so I only have 36% left, and I'm going to knock that out of the park today. But before I do that, I have to do some revising on my story. I'm finally ready to do some line editing. So what I have to do is go over the flirty scenes between my main male lead, Errol, and my main female lead, Farah, to tighten them up, use contractions, change phrases that start with I am or I feel, have them do something other than smile, because I said smile like 103 times in this manuscript, and look for places where I am telling instead of showing. And the manuscript critiquer, the editor, gave me some great examples of ways that I was telling instead of showing. So I'm going to look for that throughout the manuscript while I do all these other things. So I'm going to do that for a couple hours, and then I'm going to allow myself to read Okay, so I'm ready to end this vlog off. However, let's talk about the last book I finished, which was Sinful Vow, which I don't know if it's me. It could be me, but I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what was going on in that book. There are way too many characters. I don't know who was important. I don't know who belonged to what mafia family. I had no idea what was going on at any given point of that story, except for like a few pages. And at like 93% they were talking about murdering people. And I was like, we don't have time for this. We literally don't. The book is saying there's 20 minutes left. Like, you're not killing anybody in this time frame in like a reasonable way. And so it was just, in my opinion, too complicated for me to comprehend. However, the main female character, Lucia, was absolutely unhinged, psychopath, amazing, badass woman, and I absolutely loved her. Also, the author found a creative way of making the mafia black, which I said before, it was very interesting. But other than that, I was completely lost through most of the book, and I was just reading to get to the end, and I thought these were standalone. I thought they were like companion series, like you don't have to read all of them. But I feel like I have to read the next 5 to know what's going on. I'm not going to, because I truly did not enjoy myself most of it, but I feel like I have to. But no hate to the author, because I think she did an amazing job with her writing. Like I said, it could be me, but I had no idea at all. But with that said, I'm going to end the vlog off here. I'm not going to start any other books. I'm just going to relax, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow when I'm done work, if I want to start something new. But thank you so much if you made it to this point. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Let me know what you're reading, or what your favorite mafia romance is, or like just violent romance. It doesn't necessarily have to be mafia. It could be serial killers. It could be, you know, urban fiction. Just let me know what your favorite touch her and die books are. But thank you. Have a great day.